everybody thinks like I do too. We want to make change. But anyways, here we go. I imagine what it's like in the shoes of a dead man or a teenager. Red on cement over brown skin, the system hardly seems like a fair wager. Talking to your mama and your paps, claiming self-defense, so we busted caps. I wonder why it's like that. For the manslaughter, only wrist slaps, body bags, all the facts you need to clearly see. Death is not around the corner, so realize you come first. Second is love, peace comes third. Yo, realize you come first. Second is love, peace comes third. Anticipating destinations, predicting the way we move, analyzing, shooting schemes about how to get you hooked on the dream. Exactly what it seems. Living life for the cash, how are you free? Sacrificing health for college degrees, loans and bills like too many keys. How much you're willing to kill yourself just to succeed, so realize that you come first. Second is love, and peace comes third. Yo, realize that you come first. Second is love, and peace comes third. Appreciate you guys.
Let's give it up for Abraham, folks. Appreciate one another. We're all in this together. We are. So I just really want to say I thank everybody for showing up today. We're rolling and we're all in this together and we're moving forward for change. Now, guess what though? Change has already happened. All we got to do is stay on top of that wave and ride it to the end and get our voices, let our voices be heard. And I want to say to my white comrades here, not just allies, but I want you to become human shields, and I want you to be able to understand that we need you to step in front, and we need you to understand the story, because our story is important. We need you to understand that we need comrades and accomplices to help us on this journey, so that you can pass our white friends to pass us the mic. When you have a platform and an opportunity, pass it to us, so that we can be able to speak our story and be able to let the world know, because we need people to know what's really going on, what's really happening, when we've been silenced and shushed too long. So it's time, and time is up. It's time now to hear our voices and to speak up and to sound the alarm. And I'm so glad that you're here to help us sound the alarm today. So I'm at about 4 o'clock, I want to give you my story, why I'm in this chair, and it has a lot to do with police brutality. So I need you to understand that our story is real. Our story is real. And somebody has to listen to us. Because just like George Floyd said, I can't breathe. He was trying to tell you that he couldn't breathe. Our story is real. And he called out to his mama from the grave. She's in the grave. And he called out to her mama. And when he called out to his mama, he was calling out to all the mothers. See, mothers have compassion. Yes. And mothers understand. And mothers need to know when their child can't breathe or when their child is hurting. Mothers need to step up to the plate. How many people know that you won't turn this world upside down for your child? You will. Mothers, here. And we want to be able to let you guys know our story. We want to be able to have that platform to be able to share with you all what pain looks like, and what the pain we went through, and why we went through it. And it's because of embedded racism. It's because of systematic racism. It's because we've hid racism in our faces way too long. And we are tired, and we are sick and tired of being tired, and enough is enough. So we have a couple of other people that's going to share with you today. And I really let's give it up for Abraham one more time, you guys. Woo! And I really want people to understand, when I share my story, you can share it. You can go ahead and share it, because it's going to be an important part of what's been happening and what came out. You know, and I haven't, I'm not going to go into it right now. 4 o'clock. So, what we got? Okay. So, we got Tay that's getting ready to give her poem, and then we're going to do some more chants. And, I'm going to give her. My friend is here.
Thank everybody for coming. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. For those who were at the event in Marina, this will be a refresher. But you know what? You gotta, just like a movie, you have to see it about 4 or 5 times before you know the fullness of it. So it won't hurt. Are you blind? Or is this really what you call trying? If you trying, you're not applying, because we're all dying. I see the signs, so I'll try to make the world divine. Until then, I'll meet him when it's my time. This society is making our leaders a lost cause. Those who fault laws with the intention to fault flaws. Many sacrifice their own lives for us all. Now we running around like Dr. King didn't touch y'all. We have everything our parents wanted much to get. Let's not die blind and live stupid. Instead of use it, we abuse it to be literate to music or however we choose it. Don't break the pool sticks and expect to win. Come again, because we're born in sin. And the Emancipation Proclamation supposedly freed the slaves, but it was slaves in the house of A. Don't let nobody spit on your back and say it's rain. Pay attention to the storm to enhance your brain. Do you remember Emmett Till? Proof in the hatred for real, but yet and still many blacks they kill. Let's grow through what we're going through. I can show you what faith can do with grace too. Life can make you, don't let it break you. Love can take you to infinity. If you surrender to the divinity, we can all begin to see life in its entirety. What you desire to be is entirely up to you. Be aware of the things you say and do, even when people try to misuse you, abuse you, or confuse you. You have to let them lose you and refuse to be taken for granted. Peace must be demanded on this planet. Let's search intentionally for the beauty, and then eventually we can change reality, because I know that spiritually this is our duty. When we found out society was just a fallacy, and actually you and me, we have the power, and the monopoly can never stop our seeds, so properly we can expose and devour, and anatomically we have evolved to be sophisticatedly more self-aware, and incommensurably we can begin to see we are infinity and nothing compares. We are the opulence, and we have a lot of sense, and I admit I really don't care who doubts this. We are the superstars, and we're coming about this. We know the truth, and we're willing to show you. Absorb this and let it grow you, because we want you to know too. Thank you.
Let's give it up for time. Thank you. Beautiful.
All power to the people.
Yes. Here's my girl, Alexis. Alexis, it's on you. You got it. Go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead with the tip.
you want me to do challenge here? Okay. No justice!
No peace!
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 Whose lives matter?
Black lives matter!
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 No justice!
No peace!
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 No peace!
No peace!
No justice!
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 No peace!
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
Since I'm up here, actually, I would like to share something. I noticed when this all happened, a lot of people started posting about it, as a trend. Going to protests and taking photos and then immediately leaving. Treating it like it was a trend, like this is something cute for the internet. Or some people were talking about it actively for a week and then deleting it and acting like Black Lives Matter hasn't been an active thing for years. So, the Birmingham movement lasted 37 days. The Greensboro sit-ins lasted 6 months. The Freedom Riders lasted 7 months. The Montgomery bus boycott lasted 382 days. The Miami quiet riots lasted 1,000 days. The Black Power movement lasted about 10 years, and the Civil Rights movement lasted 14 years. This just shows us that we have to keep fighting. We have to keep standing up, and if we just give in, we give up, they win. We can't let them win. We have to show them that we're not just going to do this for a week or a month and then just leave it alone. So we need to show them that no justice means no peace. No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
Whose lives matter?
Black lives
States of America. We could talk about Stephen Darcy, and he was the vice president of the Confederates. During 1865, January 15th, the 13th Amendment was put onto the books as a law. All the Confederates that lost the war went back to their home states of North Carolina, Mississippi, Alabama. We had generals that lost the war, the vice president that lost the war. They went back to be congressmen, governors, and in that time frame, they got to write the Black Codes. The Black Codes laws made people criminals for a black man sleeping with a white woman. Or if you cannot produce that you had a job, you were able to be locked back up. You were deemed a felon or a criminal. Under the 13th Amendment, it tells you that you are still a slave if you are a felon. That law still goes on the books as we live and breathe today. So many black people have been incarcerated under the laws of the United States of America. Under Bill Clinton, back in 1996, he made the 3 strikes law. The person that's running for president right now, Biden, we already know Trump is a racist. But Biden is no different from a racist. More black people were locked up in prison behind Bill Clinton than the administration that we live in right now today. For selling weed. The man that shot Ronald Reagan to try to assassinate the President of the United States, that turned James Brady into a vegetable, got less time than black brothers that locked up in prison today. So, we need to change who we're trying to serve. The Democrats have proved over a long period of time that they don't care about us. Neither does the Republicans. It counts on us to make a change. That's the reason why when this community was thriving with black babies and black people, you have Planned Parenthood right down the street. But you can't find one in Carmel. You could go 12 miles away from Seaside High School to Carmel High School, and more people in Carmel High School could go Division I college after they get done. They could go and support their education and get their lives. Most black kids that come out of Seaside High School at best got to go to a junior college unless you're an athlete. And that's the only way America recognizes you. Before I left the house today, another black man in Atlanta got killed, shot in the back 3 times, running away from the police. And they said it was justified. Again, back in 1865, it was justified to kill a Negro if he ran away from his captors. What's the difference? The world that we living in needs to change, but it needs to change with us first by demanding a change that the 5th Amendment of the United States that said a black man and a black woman is 3/5 a human being. That we're 20%, 30% less than any white man, Asian man walking on this planet right now. That's insanity. But go back to the First Amendment, it tells you that if you come to this country being an Irishman, if you come to this country being a Filipino, if you come to this country as any nationality, you got the pursuit of happiness, of property, of liberty. But under that amendment, black people were considered property. So they had the pursuit of you. They had the pursuit of putting you in captivity. That's the reason why when I grew up in Harlem, I could see my black community, but again, Asian communities ran the black hair salons. Asian communities ran the black stores. Asian communities ran different forms of in our community. But you can't see the same thing if I go to Carmel. They have the right to say by financial decree that we'll let this business in, we'll let this business out. There's no black institutions right here where we have our own governing money and body. All these things need to change.
Yes.
Why are we supporting people because they got a classy slogan of the day? Fight it again. Help write the laws that put us in captivity back in 1996. We need to support people that comes up there and says, I'll fight against the 13th Amendment. Slavery in this country should be illegal, but slavery in this world should be illegal.
Right.
I'm going to support someone that says that if I have a jury of their peers, it'll be equal white, it'll be equal black, it'll be equal Asian. We will take this whole community to set judge over the people that commit a crime, not just one set of people.
Yes.
We need to fight for a community that says that when they open this thing from COVID-19, that McDonald's and Burger King and the stuff that cause diabetes and cancer and make us impotent are not the first things that comes back to our communities. They should be the last. We need to fight and tell those that are supposed to be representing us how they are supposed to represent us. Not hear a coach and catch a slang and think that's okay. All right, left with a history lesson. And again, our history goes way past 1619. You can go back to the 1500s when the 6th Pope said that black people need to be enslaved forever. Christopher Columbus, he had Hebrews on his boats when he came to America. They weren't looking for other people. They knew exactly who they were looking for. Our history dates back. All right, I appreciate the sister for letting me speak. Y'all keep it up.
All right.
All right, let's give it up for her. Yeah. More power. So I want to say a chat really quick, and I want to let everybody know that all lives do not matter until Black Lives Matter. Okay, I want people to understand that. And do people realize that when you step outside your door for a Black Lives Matter protest or a protest because a black person was killed, are you going to step outside your door with a sign that says all lives matter? What are you going to do? How many people march down the street with just that sign that says all lives matter? Because that's not what just happened.
Black lives matter.
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 Black lives matter. And the other thing I want you to know
Black
is
lives matter.
Black lives matter. That's it. And the other thing
Black lives matter.
Say that. Come on. All lives matter when Black Lives Matter. 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 How many of you are ready to march down the street with an all lives matter sign, then you know black lives have not been mattering? So what is that telling us? What is that telling us? Okay, don't defeat the cause. We're not out here because all lives have been getting messed up disproportionately. Disproportionately, black lives have been killed and destroyed in our country. And we're out here because we want to make a statement, because guess what? We really are all in this together. We're all in this together. And you brothers and your sisters, all of you are letting me know we just might be a different shade. Our skin color might be different, but you're letting me know our hearts are all the same. We all care. We're not trying to deplete a cause or diminish a cause. We're not trying to destroy a cause. We care. All of us care. We might look different. We might sound different. I'm a little harsh right now.
What is it?
But we care.
Pizza.
And that's the most important thing that people need to take home with them, is that we didn't stand on these corners
in numbers just because we want to say everybody matters. No, we want to start telling people that Black Lives Matter too. That's the statement. Black Lives Matter too. Drop out the truth and everybody says Black Lives Matter. Let me hear it. Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter!
Now I feel like my life matters too. I feel like my life is very important. How many people are with me that feel like their life is important?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me see your hands if you think you are important. Because I really do think we wouldn't be out here on this corner to support Black Lives Matter and the issues and to stop police brutality and to stop all the harm that's being done to our brothers and our sisters and our community members if we didn't think we were important enough to make a difference. Right? We're on this corner because we are important enough to make a difference. Right? And we need you. Marching and moving forward, we need you to make a difference. So, one thing that's important that we need to really understand is that there's so much harm that's been done to us down through the years that we've been silenced and told not to talk about it. Or somebody comes up with an excuse, oh, they didn't mean it like that. Yeah, they mean it like that. But we're the one taking the harm. We're the one taking the blows. We're the one getting pushed around. We're the one it's happening to. So since it's not happening to our white brothers and our sisters, then they don't feel the pain that we feel. They don't suffer with us. And they don't halfway understand what's going on. But all they see is just us crying. Now they understand the cries. Thank God George Floyd helped change the world along with all the other stuff that we're sick and tired of being sick and tired of. Woo! He helped change this world. His life did not go in vain. What happened to him is not going in vain. It's changing us every single day that we walk out our front door, something different. Because cops are now being exposed for they're being exposed and being held accountable. And they're being exposed for their police brutality is what I was trying to say. But let me tell you something, okay? All of you that are looking at me right now need to understand, I've been, since last year in January the 29th, I've been in the house pretty much. I get out and get something done here and there. And you haven't heard my name, Miriam Smith. My name is Miriam Smith. Some of you know me, but I've been in the house. Why have I been in the house? Why have I not been out? Because I felt like I couldn't march and I couldn't do anything because I'm in a chair. But why am I in this chair? Okay? Why am I in this chair? Well, January the 29th of last year, I'm an activist, so people call on me to take them and turn themselves in to the police department. And I was doing my service, my community duty, and I didn't drive, I decided to get somebody to drive me with the passenger in the back that asked me to go with them to turn themselves in to the police department. They were in the back of the car, and we began to drive to Gilroy, California. We notified the police that we were coming with somebody to turn themselves in on a $20,000 warrant because they missed court. So they put this petty $20,000 warrant on them and they wanted this one off. Well, I've done it before. I've never had a problem. But you know, this blackness that I carry around with me, my skin tone, my skin color, and there's 3 black women in the car, and we pull up to the police department. And the police officer comes out, bamming on the window with his baton. Now, why are you bamming on the window? We done told you we could have just turned the person in at Monterey County, but we couldn't come to where the court was, right? And turn it into that police department. I don't know why we did it that way, because we really should have went to Monterey County, to be honest with you. But so we get down there to Gilroy Police Department, and the van comes running out, bombing on the door, asking for that person. Well, they know that I'm bringing the person. They don't know that there's 3 people in the car. Y'all listening?
Yes.
They don't know 3 people in the car. I'm bringing a passenger. So that goes to the passenger side. We don't give them details. They goes to the passenger side, blamming on the window with a baton. Now they know that it's a 30-something-year-old woman. Okay? They know it's a 30-something-year-old woman. So they blamming on the car with somebody almost half her age. I mean, almost double her age. Almost double her age. They're on my side. And I'm saying, oh, I'm not that person. We're coming to bring her in like we could plan to do. We're going to get out of the car and bring her in. They insisted that I was her and began to beat me with a baton, began to beat me with their fists and baton and tase me and threw me from my top to my bottom down on the ground. Down on the ground. And George Floyd, they took George Floyd's death to pull me back out of the house again. To say, enough is enough. We're tired of these officers getting away with doing way too much police brutality. There was absolutely no reason to beat the young lady we were bringing. It was a non-violent warrant. It was a traffic warrant, actually, that they do. They up these prices way too much on the traffic. So when the cops got there, and I'm saying I'm not her, everybody in the car videoing them and saying, that's not her. Why are you beating at her? Why are you beating at her? They just wanted to beat up a black woman. And you need to believe our stories. You need to believe us. They just wanted to beat up somebody. They knew black women were coming. They had her picture. They knew her name. And they're banging on that window and didn't listen to any reasoning because they the macho cops. They do what they want to do. Now this doesn't just happen in Gilroy, but this happened to me in Gilroy, January 29, 2019. So when I pulled up and I got out the car and they got through beating me, the lady that was meeting us there, the bell bomb, knew who we were. And they wouldn't, wait a minute you guys, wait a minute, let me tell you something else. They wouldn't stop beating me. They wouldn't stop. They put their knee in my back and I said, you're hurting me, you're hurting me. I was screaming and hollering and screaming in pain, in agonizing pain. And my head just stopped hurting like maybe a month or so ago. Not so bad. Every day I had a headache. Every day my head hurt me. But when they threw me on the ground and beat me, they snatched me up off the ground and told me to sit. I said, I can't move. I can't get up. So they snatched me up off the ground, continued beating me. They didn't stop beating me. And I'm telling them I'm not hurt. But let me tell you, their code for stop resisting is to beat you. You jump from the beating and they say stop resisting. So when you hear them say stop resisting, most of the time people are not resisting. They're not beating my behind and told me to stop resisting, and I was not resisting. I was talking, saying I'm not hurt. But that didn't work. That doesn't work for police officers when you're black. It doesn't work for police officers when you're black. Do you understand? It doesn't work for police officers. They don't care when you're black because they can get away with murdering us. So they don't care what they do to you, and they don't care about the harm. So why should we not defund the police? They got too much time on their hands. Defund the police. Why should we not? In every community. I can tell you stories. I've been here all my life in Seaside. Traveled away with the military, came back. Lived in Marino a few times, came back. Lived in Seaside, Salinas about 3 years, came back. But Seaside is my home. I'm a native of Seaside. But the Seaside police, let me tell you, I started pause the cars mainly because of my nephew and my and Tamir Rice dying. So pause the cars is us community members working together and not calling the cops. Let's de-escalate it ourselves. Let's work together ourselves. Let's be bothered with us. Let's get to know our neighbors. Let's communicate. Thank you, neighbors. I just want to say thank you, neighbors, for coming out. Thank you, neighbors. I say thank you, neighbors. But let's get to know our neighbors. You understand me? Let's get to know our neighbors because they can be pretty nice people. Yeah, they can be pretty nice people. And they'll stand in front as your shield, your human shield for you sometimes. Let's get to know our neighbors. Pause the cars. Let's stop calling the police. So my nephew, 16 years old, when I started pause the cars, and Seaside police wanted to question him. Well, he's disabled, so he stutters. So Seaside police is stopping 3 black guys, and he wants to know, he's my nephew. I've been teaching civil rights and all this stuff all day life. They around me all the time. He wanted to know what's the purpose of detaining us, sir. You know, the cop threw him on the concrete ground in Seaside up by Mingo and held a gun to his head while he stuttered to try to find out still what's going on because he got disability, so he don't understand why you're doing this. So the cop is holding a gun to his head right here in Seaside, California. And I decided, we got to pause the cause. We can't be jumping up calling the cops for every little thing. The cops have too much power, and guess who gave it to us? We need to take our power back as the people in our community. Take all of our power back. Yes. It's time to take our power back. Take our power back. We own our community. If they don't have us, we don't have no cops. So we can make demands on the city government to change things on our behalf. And we can work together as a people and show them that we don't need to be policed for every little thing. Look at how crime lowered when we came into the pandemic. How the crime dropped a lot when we came into the pandemic. We can monitor and manage ourselves. We can resolve conflict among ourselves. We have power. We are the power. We are the people. We put them in office because they sit in an authority seat. We run the authorities. We need to understand that we have rights and we can take every bit of our power back. We need to understand that. We need to understand who we are in society. We need to understand that we are the reason that the rules are made, not because we put them in an authority figure. We got to keep them in check. So we need numbers of you guys coming together, and we need to separate. I have this sheet. Those that have not filled it out yet. We need teams of people coming together and working on certain issues because we need concrete issues and ideas to set out and to send and to move with an agenda. We move that item on down to the city hall, on down to the courthouse, on down to the board of supervisors meeting, on down to wherever. They've been telling us to vote ever since I was born. Well, we've been voting, and we want to keep on voting. Don't not vote. But what we want to do is make some noise up in here. We want to make some noise in every community that we're in. We want to make some noise in the community 831. If we don't make no noise, they're not going to hear you quietly stepping up to them. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, ma'am. No, we need to make some noise up in here. We need to let our voices be heard so that we can change our world around us. So we can be a part of change. So change will be guaranteed to happen. We need to make some noise. Our voices need to be heard. Why do our voices need to be heard? Because they're going to do what they want to do. But if we come in there by the hundreds, then they'll hear our voices. I remember when number 45 got in office, and he's in the White House now just being a terror and a hater and just being a racist and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But I remember when he got in office. And when he came in office, me and my daughter went to the city hall here in Seaside. And we said, okay, we want Seaside to be a sanctuary city. Before you knew it, all kind of people had joined in. But guess what? We had got our team together. And our team was coming up before the city council and said, I want Seaside to be a sanctuary city. And all the reasons why Seaside should be a sanctuary city. Then, after our team came up, we had one of the city council members speak up and say, well, yeah, we want Seaside to be a sanctuary city. Then this is how we make things happen, y'all. This is how we make things happen. So then when we showed up with forces in March of 2017, I believe it was March the 4th of 2017, but we showed up in forces. And if you look me up on Facebook, the picture still sits there. That's my picture on Facebook of all of us. Over 600 people showed up. The largest crowd from San Francisco to Los Angeles showed up for Seaside. So we can put Seaside on the map. We can put Monterey County on the map. We can change Monterey County, which will change the world. We can change things, but we got to do it together. We got to work together. It's important. We're all in this together. When they get through with us, they're going to start on you. So you might as well say we're all in this together. We all in it together. But we got all those people to show up. Everybody tagged along and said, well, I'm going to jump in this. I see this going. I'm going to jump on this. I'm going to jump on. Everybody had their little communities, but we had that one concrete goal in mind, and that was to make Seaside a sanctuary city. And guess what happened? Seaside is a sanctuary city. Change happens when we come together. And that's what we need to do, is we need to come together and make change happen. We are sick and tired, like I said, of being sick and tired. And I have this, these flyers, well, they're questionnaires that I need people to fill out that have not filled it out. Some of you have already did that. But
marching into change. Now, change has already happened all over the country. People are defunding the police. People are changing things. People are making things happen. So change has already happened. So we're marching with the change and marching into talking about this change happening in our community. And talking about change. One thing about it is I noticed that we're lock solid in Monterey County. Have anybody noticed we're lock solid in Monterey County? We're not ready to change. But if we can make Seaside a sanctuary city and go in there in the forces, we can go into Monterey County Board of Supervisors with the forces. We can go into our city halls in every city in Monterey County with the forces. We can make this thing change. That we take what we want. We don't have to be violent. We don't have to fight. We can peacefully disobedience, because that's what protest is. Oh, by the way, no, I did not get permission to be here today. And I will not ever get a permission every time. Yeah, every time. So, and that's the way it should go. And I was a little sad today being in the march in Marina, and they got permission to be in Marina, and then they walked us in the back. How many people know what it feels like being black and being walked in the back? Walked in the back of houses, not on the main road where people know we're here. And we're here for change. And we're here. And we ain't going to leave until change happens. We're not going nowhere until change happens. Because change got to happen. How many people know that? But we marched in the backwoods. It felt like my backyard. We marched over until my wheelchair chair tore. And two guys said, I'm going to buy you another wheelchair. And they text me while I was sitting here and said, we ordered your wheelchair, we sent it to you. We marched too much in the back. I'm tired of being suppressed. I'm tired of being oppressed. I'm tired of being in the back. It's time to step forward. It's time. It's time to make some noise up in this city. Make some noise in all the major cities in this county. Make some noise in every city in Monterey County, because Monterey County got to change. They want to be hard-nosed. They got to change. Seaside said at the city council meeting that they're going to get 24 jobs. And last year, only 10 jobs only 10 people took the jobs. Well, I wonder how they're suppressing and keeping these people from going out there for these jobs. Because my kids are poor, and they need those jobs. And none of them, I've been sitting at home and fighting in the courts, because I make things happen in the courts. I've been fighting in the courts for people, getting cases dismissed, getting things done in the court. I'm not just sitting at home. It's just you ain't seen my face in the forefront in a while, because I'm a frontline person, and I haven't been doing that, because really my attorney told me, don't get out there, don't do nothing. Because close my Facebook page, so I closed it down to friends. But when George Floyd died, I opened my Facebook page back up so people can see what I got to say. Because enough is enough, right? So I want you to know Monterey County can't play us. We need you. We need you to be by our side. We need you to help make these changes happen. We need you. We don't need you to just stay out here and protest, but let's move our protest into marching, into change, into marching, into a conversation. It's time to talk about what we can do and what we're willing to do, and join some teams. We got some teams here of people that you can join that's going to take us and march us right into this change. And we're going to make Monterey County budge. Who are the people? We the people. Who has the power? People have the power. The government does what the people say do. We are in control more than you realize, and it's time that we realize we're in control. And we can't hide and help you realize that we're in control. We have to step to the forefront. So I can't obey my attorney any longer. It don't matter. I need to move forward, and we need to move forward. How many people here today is with me moving forward? Because we need to make change happen. We don't need no big crowd. 10 people can change the world. We don't need no huge audience. Not when you're making change happen. Because protesting is what? Protesting is resisting. We don't need your permission anymore. We're going to take a seat at the table. We tired of you waiting on you to appoint us a seat at the table, to give us a seat at the table. We're going to take a seat at the table. And we don't need nobody trying to tell us, step aside, move over. No, we've been moved over long enough. We done stepped aside long enough. It's time for us to take what belongs to us and take it back by force. We don't got to fight nobody, but when they know the force of the people show up, like they showed up to make this city PSA to everything. When the force of the people show up, when the force of the people speak up, when the force of the people stand up, we take it back by force. And it belongs to us anyway. The government does what we want them to do. Them to do. And we need more women in the government. That's an important fact. Women are sensitive to issues. We need that. And we need women that are powerful enough to stand in their own right. That will stand in their own right and speak up. And speak against the things that are wrong. So I just want to share this with you. I meant to share the rest of what I need you all to fill out. And it says, what does justice look like to you? Basically, it's saying, what does all the rest of this look like to you? What does ending racism look like to you? What does stopping police brutality look like to you? What does defunding the police look like to you? What does abolishing the police look like to you? What does stopping systematic racism in our institutions, embedded in our system, what does that look like to you? And then there's a comment section. I need you all to run up here and get this stuff and sign it. If you have not filled it out and signed it, fill it out. And on the back it has where you get your information. I need y'all to run up here and get this. This is so important that we have to, if we're standing together, we're standing together. There's no change gonna happen without you. And you and you and you. We all are in this together. Now they think we're a joke. They say we'll go away, right? Every time this march happened, that march happened, we go away. Listen, we're gonna team up and we're not going anywhere.
Yes, ma'am.
We're here to stay. I've been here all my life. We're here to stay. This is my home record when we travel with the military. We're here to stay. We're not going away. It's time that we stand for something. It's time that we stand for something. If we don't stand for something, they just gonna keep walking all over us. They're gonna keep on walking all over us. We are, and another important thing that I want to close out with is I need my white comrades, accomplices, white folks that say they're allies. I need you to step up from the plate of ally because we need you to be human shields. I need you to be able to be our guard because I need you to do what? What do I need you to do? Pass me the mic. Pass another black person the mic. It's time that they heard about our pain. It's time they heard about our pain. And I need you guys to understand, it's not taking nothing away from y'all. We've been took away from all down through the years. It's time to give up the mic. Stop stepping in front of us. Stop letting things happen and say, oh, I'm more qualified. No, it was our color of our skin. And they knew it and you knew it and y'all just let it go. Stop covering racism in our face. Stop hiding it in our face. We can tell, but we need the power of the forces working together so that we can create change and make change happen. And I know that you guys understand that Black Lives Matter!
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 While everyone is signing those, I actually had a good topic to talk about. One thing I notice is when, you might come across someone who's racist or says all lives matter, etc., and you're not sure what to say. So I've thought about this a lot because I deal with this a lot. So one thing I notice is a lot of people when they argue about these things, they immediately insult the person. Never start like that. If someone says all lives matter and you're like, we're not saying that just Black Lives Matter, we're saying that all lives matter but Black Lives Matter too, and they don't listen to that, tell them this. The reason why when you scream all lives matter it's racist is because no one said all lives matter until we said Black Lives Matter. It was a direct insult to it, the same with Blue Lives Matter. And when someone says Blue Lives Matter, that person is a person before they're a cop. Say that. Yeah. If someone says ACAB, no. SCAB. Some cops are bad. Well, ACAB actually doesn't stand for all cops are bad. It stands for all cops are bastards, which comes from the word bastardized, because bastardized means corrupt, and the police system is a corrupt system. Thank you. That's just, those are like the easiest things, because they can't fight that. They can't fight facts. They can't fight logic. And I promise you, as soon as you say that, they're just gonna immediately try to insult you, and you've already won. You've already won. I'm just letting you know now. That's exactly what you say. No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
No justice.
No peace.
If you guys have any other topics that you're like, how do I combat this? Let me know. And I 100% have. Yes.
So I want to say something that's like attuned to what you said. So if some people say like, well, there's some good cops out there. Well, I read something. So if there's 100 bad cops, no, 10 bad cops, and they're doing something bad, and there's like 100 good cops. Actually, let me flip around. Let's say there's 100 bad cops, and there's like one good cop. If the good cop doesn't stop what the bad cops are doing, there's now 101 bad cops. You can't say you're a good cop, but then not help stop something that is wrong right in your face. That means you are explicit. No, is that the right word? Yeah,
Complicit.
Complicit in that violence. Thank you.
You have a bunch of apples. You got 100 apples, and there's one bad apple. What happens to all the apples? They all turn bad. All the apples go bad. That's something that people don't think about. That they don't say the whole saying. All of the apples go bad. You know, it's only one bad apple. Well, when there's one bad apple, all the apples go bad. So exactly.
Hi, my name is AJ. This is my grandma. So, if she can fight, and she's like, I don't know, because she doesn't like saying her age, everyone can fight. She's been doing this ever since her first child was born. She's been doing this ever since her first child been born. And I'm her second grandchild. This woman been fighting all her life. Struggle after struggle after struggle. So we need to stop this now so my grandchildren won't have to go through this. Because I want some peace and quiet. And I heard about this and I started crying. Because she's my grandma. I care about her a lot. As well as my mother, my brother, and all my family. Even though they get on my nerves, I still care about them. Because they're my family. It's called family love. Now all you here are now my family. And now we gotta march up there and tell them, stop messing with my freaking family before I fight. Thank you.
No justice!
No peace.
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 No justice!
of segregation, 61 plus years of racial inequality. I think that is so important. I love those kinds of signs because they have facts on it. That's something to read and think about. It makes you think, you know? We have plenty of different sides. Anti-white silence, that's so important. Because like she said, a lot of people who are white, they don't say anything. Because either they don't feel it's their place or it makes them uncomfortable. It's supposed to make you uncomfortable. It makes it.
I don't know.
And like it makes all of us uncomfortable. I think, especially as a black person, all the stuff that goes on in America today makes us very uncomfortable. So these situations are supposed to make you uncomfortable because that's the only way you can change. Have you ever been sitting down and then that position gets uncomfortable and then you have to change your position? That's exactly how racism is. Racism was comfortable for a while. People didn't really say anything, and then people started saying things because they got uncomfortable. And they stopped they were like, wait, I shouldn't live like this. So we have to get uncomfortable to get these things, to change these things. Ally or racist? Which one are you? That's important. Because a lot of people claim that they're an ally, and they don't do anything. They say, oh, but I can't just protest, I can't donate money. There's plenty of other things that can be done. Besides going to protest or petitions, bring awareness to these situations that are going on in America. Shopping at black-owned businesses. There's so many things that can help that people don't even realize. That's why I love seeing the diversity that we have here. Like she said, we don't need a giant crowd of people to make change. Like, we're not a huge crowd, but we're still making a difference. You see all the people honking their horns and saying things to us, regardless if it's negative or positive, they're still saying something, they're still noticing us. And that's what we want. We want to be noticed. That's why we're here. And that's so important. That's one thing is, and this is super peaceful too. There's nothing wrong with this at all. What are they gonna say? They were standing there being scary. What are they gonna say? That we were standing here fighting for something? That's all they can say. We're not doing a single thing wrong. And like she said, we shouldn't have to ask for permission to fight for these things. We shouldn't have to. So, whose lives matter?
Black lives matter!
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 New York? You're allowed to say. Get the road on the
Everybody can hear me? Alright, first I wanna give an honor to God with all respect to anyone's religion. I give honor to my God who is the head of my life and the reason why I'm here. I wouldn't have woken up this morning without him. A couple weeks ago I was pulled over by the police in Salinas while I was handing out food to the homeless. And I'm not from this community. I work here at the hospital, and I've been training a computer system. And in my off time, in an attempt to help during COVID and during this crisis, I've been feeding the homeless in Salinas County. They know me when they see me. They see my car. They come to my car. I'm not doing anything mischievous, but I understand I am a very big, very outspoken black man. And I drive a rental car that probably is worth more than the car I drive at home. I was pulled over in Chinatown for being double parked. I want to say that again. I was pulled over for being double parked. So the cop saw me handing the food to the homeless, drove past me, did not flash his lights, did not make it aware that I was doing anything wrong, and then followed me for 3 city blocks before pulling me over. Citing the reason that he pulled me over was because I was double parked. Now, I'm not a physicist or anything, but I don't know how you can pull someone over that's not moving. So you didn't pull me over because I was double parked. You pulled me over to see what this black man was doing in this neighborhood. Yes, it's a shaky neighborhood, but there are people in that neighborhood that need support, right? There are normal people, normal, hard-working families that have to go to the food banks to get food, right? Resources that are normally used by, those in need, right? People that don't have a 9-to-5, don't have income every 2 weeks, that need food. So I took it upon myself to try to help those people. My job provides us with free lunch, so I take those free lunches and I give it to the homeless people. And then on the weekends, I cook for them. Right, the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches that I was handing out earlier is excess of what we made this morning. We fed over 150 people with the help of Noodle Bar, who donated food, and we made some chicken to put in some parcels to give to the homeless. That's what I was doing in Chinatown in Salinas. You didn't ask me why I was there. You didn't come to my car with any type of concern. You bang on my door, you tell me to pull down my window, and you approach my car with a gun, with your hand on your gun. At which time he asked me to give my license. And I'm from New York City, like she said, so I've been told rules a million times. When the cop comes, you turn off the car, you turn off your music, you submit, you say sir, you do whatever it takes to get home that night. And as a grown man, I'm 30 years old, I'm no one's child anymore. I shouldn't have to yes sir you to make it home safely. It's well within my rights to ask why am I being pulled over. It's well within my rights to ask what is my charge, what is the infraction. The officer told me I can't tell him how to do his job. I told him until he creates a safe environment by removing his hand from his gun, I'm not reaching for anything. I've seen people on camera killed for less. And it's ridiculous that a routine traffic stop has to be such a stressful and intensive situation. But all based on my locks, my skin color, my stature, the car that I'm driving. You didn't pull me over because I was double parked. You pulled me over because I was black. Now there have been so many other black lives that didn't make it out of that routine traffic stop.
Yeah, that's right.
Sandra Bland was pulled over and we never saw her again.
So she was dead.
She did not kill herself.
She did not kill herself.
Sandra Bland would have been out here with us fighting today. And I'm saying her name on purpose. Black man, say her name. Say all of their names. They are out here on the front lines. Like he said, his grandmother is out here fighting for him. Black women have been the pillar of our community since it started. So if we're not going to protect her, we're doing ourselves a disservice. So he pulls me over. I tell him to remove his hand from his gun. He doesn't want to. He tells me I'm not going to tell him how to do his job. We have a whole exchange back and forth until one of his officers told him, calmed him down, he moved his hand. It shouldn't take that. I shouldn't have to fear for my life while I'm reaching for my license. That is standard. Yes, there's an infraction. Here's my license. Run my plates. Do what you have to do. Right? There's no reason why I should fear for my life in those couple of seconds. Now, once again, I'm from New York. We don't normally, my community, we don't normally pursue things like this. But there's a council in Salinas, the LULAC Council, and they asked for my support. And where I would normally not file a complaint, I'm filing the complaint against the police officer for racial profiling. Because regardless of my beliefs and how tough I want to be, if I'm not a part of the solution, I am a part of the problem. And by me staying silent, I am a part of the problem. Now that works as me as a black man, right? My silence is a part of the problem. Now equate that to the silence of people that don't understand why Black Lives Matter. So there's a line that has been drawn in the streets that we march on. If you stand on one side, stay on that side, but don't be confused when we tell you which side you're on. And I want to urge everyone here to keep going. Please keep going. Like they said, we don't need a big crowd. You don't need a big crowd. One person can make a change. One person. There was one person that protested in Boston. That was the first person slain as an American during the American Revolution. A black man, Crippus Attucks, sorry. One person can make all the change in the world. And at first I was disappointed because I was here 2 weeks ago and there was a huge crowd, an overwhelming showing of support. But for the people that are still here, you have to keep going. You have to keep going. Because Tamar Rice can't. Trayvon Martin can't. Sandra Bland cannot. Oscar Grant cannot. Breonna Taylor cannot. Freddie Gray cannot. We have to keep going for them so their lives do not fade in vain. What Eric Gardner went through, what Amadou Diallo went through, all of these names, we shouldn't be hashtagging each other. We should be hashtagging fun things like pizza and food. We should not be hashtagging people. I just want to leave you guys with whatever your faith is, whoever you answer to, look into yourself and look into your neighbors and find solace, but also find strength. Because this fight isn't over. The governor of New York told protesters to stay home because there's going to be police reform. That is not the end.
Is that right?
Systematic racism does not only live in the police department, it lives in our schools, it lives in the banks, it lives in the employment sector that will not hire you because of the color of your skin. This is not over. Do not take the street signs, the painted streets, Black Lives Matter road, that does not actively change what we're fighting for. And do not accept the crumbs. We are coming for the establishment to take the plate and destroy it and build it back in the image of the people. And when I use the word destroy, I don't want anyone to think that I'm trying to incite a riot or vandalize your community. There is a virus in America called racism that needs to be eradicated. And the only way is if we continue to keep the pressure. So don't take the signs, do not take the 1 or 2 bills. Until every American can walk down the street with equality, we will continue to disrupt the peace. And we're not asking for extra as black people in America. We are asking for equality. That's it. That's it. Thank you. Let's go local lawyers one more time. Thank you so much, Lawrence. Thank you so much. Is there anybody here that wants to step up and say something here today? Because what you say today can make a difference for us tomorrow. So is there anybody here that wants to step up and say something, have something to say? We welcome you. We welcome you because even though we want you to pass us the mic and don't take over, we still need your support. We still need your voice. We still need your words. We still need the power that you have because the power of the people won't stop. We still matter. All of us matter. Every single person out here matters. We're not saying that black lives are the only thing that matters. So when you hear somebody that want to argue about that, tell them that we're saying black lives matter too. We drop the 2 and we move it with a statement. We move it with a message. And we move it so people understand. When they hear us say Black Lives Matter, they'll wonder what's going on? Why are they saying that? Instead of trying to delete the message or try to get rid of the message, they will understand that Black Lives Matter too. You know, the statement sounds pretty good as Black Lives Matter because we want you to understand we're here. Black folks are in the house. Black folks are here. Recognize that we're here. It's not that you do better than us. Matter of fact, if we go back in history, a black man created electricity. Black folks created most of the stuff, and it was taken from us.
plantations back in the forefathers and our foreparents created the stuff, and when we created the stuff, other people sold with it because they monopolized the economy. They monopolized with the finances. They took over, and a lot of times we'll have things that other people will take, and then we're left stuck without. We don't have the same thing, the same opportunity because of racism and because of people putting their feet on our backs, and we're tired of people putting their feet on our back. We're tired of people putting their feet on our neck. That was a statement that police officer made. The way he killed George Floyd with his foot on our neck, he killed him in a way that he knew he could get away with it. He knew he could get away with it because he knows that there's never enough people standing up saying enough is enough. And they don't keep it going. We need you to continue to stand with us and continue to keep it going because guess what? If you all had enough, guess when we had enough? A long time ago, we've been done had enough. And so we need people to understand that there's a lot of black people, if you go back in history, there's a lot of black people that have created stuff and can create today. But we subject our black men. These cops right here in Seaside will pull our black young men over, like I told you about my nephew. They let them go. But what does that feel like? To have a gun pointed to your head on concrete ground. What does that feel like? Can your children imagine that? But it happens to our black children. They destroy us from the beginning. These cops in Seaside will go around to my kids who don't get in trouble. You ain't gonna hear nothing bad about my kids. I raised 9 grown, they grown now, and I raised them, and they ain't in and out of trouble. I do not have to go visit one of them in jail. Not one in jail. Now, I'm not bragging, but I'm an activist in my community. I was an advocate in the school district, making sure all kids were well taken care of. And in my community, I work hard, and my kids watch me. They understand what's going on. So I'm not bragging. I'm just saying it takes a lot of work for a single parent to raise kids and keep them out the system. It takes a lot of work. We all can't do that. My kids come to me about the police department and say, oh, they say the Mexicans trying to kill the blacks. Seaside police. We need to defund the police. They start riots. They start stuff. They irritate people. This is Seaside police. I've been here all my life, raising grown kids. Mom, you know, such and such cop stopped me and said they know the cops by name in Seaside. And said, oh, the Asians are starting to riot with the black people. Just instigate stuff. Just instigate stuff. Y'all wake up. That's all I have to say. When we black people tell you something, believe us for the most part. Give us the benefit of the doubt like you do everybody else. Because when my kids tell me, I know what's happening. I know what's going on. I know what time it is. And I really thank you all for coming out and joining us because it's important. And anybody else that have anything to say, and we're going to listen to Tay again. She's awesome. You guys give it up for Tay.
Okay, I know I did a poem at first, but now I'm going to speak because as I was listening to everybody, a few things popped into my head about how systemic racism destroys more black lives than you can even imagine. I mean, even though we know about the lives that were taken, but we don't know about the lives that have been destroyed. I mean, the black family dynamic itself is destroyed. From the mass incarceration of our men, in addition to the murders, but also the mental illness as a result of systemic racism throughout the black community, which affects both men, women, and children. Because, and it starts from birth. It starts right in the hospital when children are born. I mean, even women, black women in labor are treated horribly. So from the time we come into the world, we're treated horribly. Even from our medical insurance, we're given a low-grade medical insurance, and our kids' immunizations are different than those who pay for their insurance. So we're given vaccines which all affect our mind, our mental development, and then we're placed in schools where, and this is no pun, no nothing negative to anybody, but We put our black kids in school with middle-aged white women who don't understand us culturally. And then, like my son is 11 years old, and since COVID-19, you know, we've been teaching at home. It's been doing the distance learning, and my son was given a 3-part book that he had to read along with his class, and he's the only black kid in his class, and the name of the book was called Chains. And I was going over something, helping him with his work, and one of the questions said, do you think that her dreams will come true? Do you think she's just daydreaming or not? And then the answer was, no, her dreams will never become true. She'll be a slave forever, and her slave masters. And I'm like, what do they have these kids reading at 10, 11 years old? It was a 3-part series book about the life of 2 enslaved black sisters written by a white woman. And this is what, you know, what is being drilled in the heads of the children. I mean, my son was 10, just turned 11, and what I'm saying is, it starts, first of all, when the black woman goes into labor, she's treated horribly through childbirth. Then when the kids come, we're given bad vaccines. All of this affects our mental. Then our men, our fathers, are never there. They can't get good jobs, so they have to suffer, they have to sell drugs or commit crimes. And then it just affects them mentally. They don't feel like men when they come home. And then women are provided resources from the government, but we're not allowed to have our men in our lives and in our homes if we receive government resources like Section 8 or food stamps. They're like, we'll help you out a little bit, but you can't have a man around. And if we find out you have a man around, we're going to cut you off and make you pay us back. That's destroying the entire black family dynamic. That is causing mental illness in the black community. And then they wonder why we come out, and then after we deal with that in our homes, after we deal with that in secret, now our men feel less than men. Our women feel trapped. And then they pit us against each other with government resources, you know. So women go against men. Well, you're not going to help me. The government will help me. And, oh, you put me on child support. Well, that's the only way I can get some food stamps. And what do they expect? What do they expect? And then we come out into the world, and then we're treated like crap wherever we go, no matter what. Black women are being labeled as angry black women because we're strong, because we speak up for ourselves. Men are just, what do you call it? Just treated like dogs. And you wonder why we're angry. You wonder why we're angry. And we don't even want revenge. We don't want to do the same thing back. We just want it to stop. That's all. And in all honesty, there was a time that we didn't even want to be included. We just wanted to make our own little world. And even that was destroyed.
Speak on it.
So when we say destroy the system, we're not talking about people. We're talking about a way of thinking.
Yes.
We're talking about a mentality. Something that, I mean, it destroys Black Lives Matter. I mean, they're not just killing us. They're destroying us mentally, spiritually. So so that's our struggle. That's our struggle, and we're glad we have a platform now where ears are open, eyes are open, and we're going to say it. We're going to tell it all. This is what it is. This is what the problem is. We don't hate no one. We just want to stop being hated. That's all. That's all we're asking. We're not sitting here making demands saying, oh, we want to be better than we just want to be left alone. That's all. Because we can do it. And we were told to pull ourselves up from our bootstraps. Actually, if we was given the same platform we would be in the stars right now, as strong as we've come from, because it's like every time we pull ourselves up, we're pushed deeper and deeper and deeper down. So if we were given a equal level platform, this story, this would be totally different. It wouldn't be us standing here with the mic. You understand what I'm saying? If we was given an equal level playing platform. So what we want to do, what we want to show you is how much better the world can be for everyone. Everyone. If we all just work together and love each other.
That's it.
Whoa, I don't like that. That's not what I want to hear. Hello. There we go. There we go. Here we go. I don't like those sirens. No.
So before she comes on, I want to remind everyone, there are cities across the country that are declaring systematic racism as a public health issue, because that's what it is.
Yes.
We cannot forget. Well, we're not allowed to forget. We're all wearing masks. We are already in a public health issue.
Yeah.
So you're out here fighting for your lives and risking your lives to do so. So I want you to remember your responsibility and your privilege to be here, because we've lost over 100,000 Americans to one of the public health crises. And now we're all out here risking to fight against another one. So that's, when you think about racism, I want you to think about the fact that we're out here defying COVID, risking our lives for basic human rights.
Fight within a fight.
All right, my name's Donna.
Hi, Donna. Hi, Donna.
Obviously, I'm white, and I've had issues with race. I had a black roommate for years, and we were always in conflict, things like that. So I think what I've learned in this is that I do not need to judge. I do not need to be prejudiced or expect people to be a certain way. And so I'm very appreciative of this movement, because it has made me wake up to what's really going on. And we cannot live like this anymore, with murder and everything imaginable. So I just want to say, and it took a lot for me to come up here.
We appreciate you.
Thank you. It's so,
Your
hard.
courage will give others courage.
Yeah, but being white, you just have these prejudices. You do.
It's programmed into your
It's
mind.
programmed.
Through the media,
And I'm German too. And so, and so I just feel that there's so much to overcome.
But you're making a step for the next generation.
Yes, I don't have children. I don't have grandchildren or anything like that, but I'm just saying, I just want to speak to support everybody here, because being white is not the easiest. Do you understand? Do you? It's not easy, because I don't know, I just feel there's some preconceived thing going on. So anyway, I'm done. Thank you, everybody. That's the first time I spoke up in public.
So we're getting ready to lay out with our hands behind our back for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. As long as it took that man laying on George Floyd's neck until he passed, until he stayed on his neck for almost 9 minutes, 8 minutes and 46 seconds. I want you all to follow us. We're getting ready to lay out, and we're getting ready to make a statement, a very strong statement for this community. Where do you want to go? Right here. The street. Let's go.
14, 13.
Spread out, you guys. Spread out. Spread out. Spread out. Take the street up. We gotta take it. Monterey County, we rule. That's right. The people have the power. That's right. All right, everybody lay out hands behind their back. And then we're gonna time it. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
No peace.
No justice.
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 No peace. 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 I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.